Hey guys, what is up? What is up? What is up? Hope you guys are having a good day. You guys had a pretty good one. We've had a fairly, well, a really active day today from our sun. We'll take a look at this. But before we do that, I'll say hi to everybody real quick. G513, Arizona Raven, Jacqueline, Brenda, hey, good to see you in here. I gave you a ranch in case you didn't see that, okay? Just making sure. Gone Girl, Cow, IG, what's up? Yeah, I see Ron was live right now, too. I think Mark Pyers is, too, right now, too. This is right when I was getting ready to go live. Everybody went live at the same time. Robert, what's up, bud? Kathy, Brett, Vicky, Vanima, Darcy, Jerry, Wisdom, and anybody else I missed, I apologize. But, yeah. Thank you guys for stopping in. We're going to try to get to this. We've had, just to give you a little rundown real quick, we've had a lot of, well, we've had continuous solar flares. Pretty much. Hey, Rebecca, what's up? Amy, Angelo's in the house. Brett, David, Heaven's Gems. Any Monkey Music. That's cool. Yeah, we've had a really active day today. I'm talking like continuous solar flares, another CME. This CME is actually coming right at us. So we're probably going to take this one right on the chin, but it doesn't look to be a very big or powerful one. It's kind of funny. It's like in size, it's kind of one of the smallest ones we've seen in a while, but it's going to hit us right in the middle. So it's kind of crazy. But we have had continuous flares. So I'm gonna give everybody a couple minutes to get in here real quick, and then we'll get going. But yeah. So I did want to go over the chat rules again real quick. Hey Wendy, what's up? Glad to have you here. Walter, MJ Mama, what's up? That's right. That's right. Marie, hey. How do the solar flares affect humanity? It's funny you asked that, because I'm going to show you guys something here in just a minute. It's going to explain pretty much just that. And we'll get into that here in just a second. But I do want to give people a chance to get in here. But the chat rules, guys, you know, they're real simple. We can't attack each other. Okay? We can't use vulgarity. That's pretty much it. You can attack me all you want. As long as it's, you know, as long as it's not vulgar. That's all I care about. You can't break the terms of service that YouTube has set up, obviously. But you can't use, like I said, I'd like to keep most of the vulgarity out. Now, granted, if it's like a really common word or whatever, so what? Okay, I get that. But you guys know what I'm saying there. And when I say attacking somebody, like if you guys are talking to each other and you guys are disagreeing, if you go so far as to call somebody a name, that's attacking them. Okay? I don't care what that name is. You know, that's just something we can't have. As soon as we start doing that on you know, we can disagree on our, you know, our beliefs or our, whatever we're looking at. We can disagree whatever it is. But if it goes down to calling somebody a name, that is just not going to happen. It's not, you know, it's just not the place for that. You know, if we're going to be adults here or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Wolf, what's up? I'm going to comment your... All right, I got you. Jamie, Tammy, Tatiana. I like that name. I've always liked that name, Tatiana. Ricky, what's up? Douglas. Okay, guys. Chucky. Kathy's in here. Missy. J-Man, however you want to say it. Alyssa. Anyway. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to start with the way we typically start. But then once we get to the solar flares and stuff, I'm going to show you guys a couple things that I think is going to help everybody understand just a little bit better about what's going on. Oh, man. I just X'd out of that. Anyway, hold on just 1 second. Let me get that back up. Accidentally X'd out of that, the Schumann link. Hey Johnny, what's up? Jan, Troy, DBG. Yeah. If you guys, let me know if you guys are seeing any kind of, if we got bad audio or something. With solar weather, some of it we're not going to be able to help. But other, like if I've got too many things running, sometimes I can, slow it down or whatever. But other than that, not much I can do about that. Just so keep that in mind when we're looking at this stuff. So anyway, what the heck happened there? Man, I'm gonna just X out of that too. That was, what the heck is going on here? Anyway, hold on just a minute. Now I done screwed that up too. Hold on. Sorry guys, I had this all set up and ready to go and I just jacked it all up. So what we'll do is we will start, well, I just showed you the Schumann, so we'll go back there. We'll check it out for a minute. Mods, please take care of that for me in there in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and put this away so we can get going. So, yay, George, thanks for coming in here. Arizona, I think I already said hi to you. Gypsy Soul, Stevie. Anyway, yeah, I like talking to you guys, and it's kind of hard to, put this away, but it's what I got to do. So anyway, I'm going to X out of that again because that was just ridiculous. I don't know. What do we got here? Okay. I'm going to move this over. Hold on a minute, guys. Sorry. I do apologize for that. That's something that, yeah. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, this is our Schumann right now, guys. And, not really a whole lot going on with it. Okay? We are still seeing, there was a couple decent spikes, and we can always relate that to certain other things. Trying to figure out exactly where that came from. It's kind of difficult most of the time. And again, I have to say, this is a regional thing. Alright? This is not showing complete global conditions. This is something that, it's set up. People actually have some of this stuff set up in on their own properties. And they do, do the readings and stuff themselves. But this one here is like a culmination of multiple different stations, and they all report in, and then they put an average number out, and that's what you see. But, that's why we can't really, say, hey, this is what everybody's experiencing, unless it's something big, okay? Typically, if we see a bigger spike or whatever, it probably rang through the whole planet, whatever happened there. Like this one. I would have to say something wrong us here. Okay, because that's pretty intense. If you look down here on the bottom, you can kind of see that too. But yeah. So with that being said, not much more else to talk about there with the Schumann. It was pulsing back here, but that would make sense if we were getting flares. But I don't think we were getting flares the whole time. So I'm not quite sure what caused all that. But if you guys are feeling really moody back yesterday, that's probably why. Also over here, we're starting to see a little bit of a pulsating spike again too. So, that can mess with our moods. And so can solar weather, period. I mean, that's just what it does sometimes. Okay, so space weather. So as you can see, guys, we've been talking about this. Look at this. The video I did this morning, was it this morning when I did it? Or was it late last night? I can't remember exactly when my last one was. It was this morning. We were only here. Okay, so I was able to show you these two because that was the biggest one that popped off. And, I showed you guys that and we went on, our day. But look what happened. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you want to count the real small ones. Now, all these are really no big deal, okay? Again, we don't really worry about these things until they get up in the M class, and they really have to be even, at least middle range or higher M class flares is where we start seeing, major issues. But until we get there, this stuff here is causing a little bit of issue, like with our TVs and our communications and all that kind of stuff. But nothing more than that. All right, as far as what we're going to notice as a a community globally, that kind of thing. But this is what's important about this is we haven't seen a sunspot do this in a very long time. Now, what's going to happen, guys, as you see us, ramp back up into solar maximum, this is going to become normal, especially the smaller ones. Now, when we get the big ones, obviously that's going to have to be talked about. But we definitely were getting flares here. Now we have a CME we need to talk about too, and I'll show all that to you here in a second. But geomagnetic activity, kind of up here, it tanked back down, kind of came back up a little bit. So none of those geomagnetic storms they said we were going to get or had a chance of getting, none of it materialized. It did not occur. We did have a uptick in there. Now we did bump up into like a 5, really close to it, which would be a G1 storm. And I guess the way that works is that even if we bump up into that area, they won't leave it there or map it out like this on this particular site unless it stays there for a certain amount of time. So say it just popped up there for a second and came back down. They don't call that a storm. What they do is they wait and they see, because these are 3-hour time blocks on these bars. So first look at the sun here real quick. Here's that sunspot. Now remember, this is that same sunspot that I told you it just kind of appeared. Remember? About right here. This isn't something that formed off the edge here and rotated in. This thing just kind of appeared like right here. And, as soon as it popped up, it started firing flares. I even talked about it. As a matter of fact, I think I even said that exact thing. But we'll look at that a little bit more in depth here in a second. Solar weather conditions. This is ACE data here. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. Again, in yellow, that's the solar wind speed. The green is the temperature. The orange is the density. Alright. Now you can see the density starting to come up. And so when we see that starting to happen, typically the solar wind will be doing the opposite. Not always. But what's interesting here is that it looks like the solar wind speed is starting to pick back up a little bit. But the density is still climbing also. Now I went over here and looked at the range. This little bit of a climb ain't really much, because it's only going from 1 to maybe 3. It's not a big jump. I know it looks a little bit more than that just by looking at this, but we have to look over here first, okay? So, same thing with the solar wind, anything we're looking at here, right? So, the solar wind actually has a decent variance here that gives us a more accurate look at what we're looking at, in my opinion, as far as looking at the line itself and not just looking at the data point. But, we can get a broad idea of what's happening here. So the wind speed went down, temperature said it was going down, density was going up. The phi angle did this little polarity flip right here. I don't think we've seen much from that though, but at the same time the BZ went negative also, which means, the door's open for energy to leave pretty much, without going into some big long explanation on what that is. Guys, if you don't understand like vocabulary words and stuff like the BZ, you don't know what that is. I know I've explained it in the past. I just cannot explain it every video, because if I do, that's all I would do. So I would encourage you guys just to type in BZ. What is BZ on ACE data? If you did that, or not, don't have to be on ACE data. Just type in what is BZ space weather, and you'll find it really easy. And probably take you 5 minutes to read through what it actually is and understand it. It's not that hard to understand. So with all that said, I probably could have told you what it was, couldn't I? Anyway, Enlil model. Again, conditions of Earth, they're in green. And, we're reading this right here, and that is, it's fairly low density. But it's saying we're going to get an uptick right here fairly quickly, real sharp. And I think it's because of that CME. Okay, and we'll take a look at it here in a minute. But the solar wind speed is, predicted to go down. It's already, we're here in time. Okay, this is 2 days behind us. and it tries to predict out in front of us 5 days. But we're about right here in time, so this is the conditions we should be experiencing right now. This is a little bit off though, okay? 500's up here, so that's got us running around about 450, and if we go over here and look, A-stat is saying that we're actually higher than that. So, who knows? I'm sure one of them's a little bit more accurate than the other. I just don't know which is. But anyway, I'll try to figure that out myself. But if you see this right here, the magnometers, don't worry about this. This is a complete dropout of the tool, okay? Nothing happened there. It's just a flaw. It's just a little anomaly. I wouldn't even worry about it. It's nothing that, yeah, nothing happened. The tool went down probably. Needed reset, some maintenance on it, or whatever. But that's what happened. Why do I say that? Well, look at it, guys. I mean, come on. You know, we can see spikes on here, but to have like a a rectangle shape, nah, that's a tool flaw or an anomaly type of thing. Aurora Forecast. So, you know, as we look through here, I'm just going to grab it. And you're going to notice, you know, yes, we're coming in and out, but that's pretty normal, guys. Okay? I do look as we get towards the second, you know, when CMEs and stuff get closer to Earth, that energy starts interacting. And, you know, right about the time the CME gets here, this Aurora thing will probably go off a pretty good, a good ways if we get hit with a decent one. Or even a small one, it will increase the Auroras. And I hope I've explained what Auroras are to you guys enough to let you guys know that, you know, not only are they beautiful things to look at, well, I'll tell you what, let's go here real quick. You got any Auroras on here? Nope, not today. Not only are they beautiful, but they're confirmation of solar weather or space weather. Because that means we're getting, you know, charged particles reacting with the oxygen particles or the nitrogen particles, whatever they're bouncing off of or bouncing into, that reaction. Okay, so when they react and when they get excited, those molecules do, and what we see in the sky is when that starts to calm down. Okay, that's what we're seeing. Basically, we're seeing the return back to, you know, calm conditions for that particular charged particle. And that's what we visually see. It's green, red, pink, whatever we're seeing there. Okay? So when we see these auroras and they're, you know, really crazy wild looking and all that, it's confirmation that we've gotten some pretty decent charged particles into our atmosphere, probably from coronal holes the majority of the time. Other times it would be CMEs and stuff like that. So, magnetosphere. This is the speed. We're not going to see much here. It's going to move around a little bit, see a couple waves come in and out. I'm not even going to waste too much time on this one today, guys. I looked at this, and we're not much is going on. It's just going to look like that. You know, maybe a couple waves will come in, but nothing crazy on this. So, let's just get rid of that then. Okay, what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to, first off, I'm going to reset on that. Wow, okay. Pause that, hit reset. Is everything still okay in there? You guys ain't got no buffering or anything? Just checking. As I click over here, just let me know if you do. Okay, cool. Cool. Thank you. Alright. What I'm going to do... Well, I don't want to go there yet either. Let's, I get asked a lot, what solar, you know, what are the stuff we're talking about as far as, you know, solar flares, you know, CMEs, solar wind, all that stuff. So I made a couple videos a while back, and I was just trying to explain it to people. You know, this is like a minute and a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, and we'll take a look at it and see what we got, okay? I might pause it just to explain if I need to, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So what this is, it's going to tell you what a solar flare is, okay? I guess I'll pause it right there, okay? You guys can read that, right? A solar flare is a sudden flash of increased brightness on the sun, usually observed near its surface, okay? And in close proximity to a sunspot group, typically. Powerful flares are often, but not always, accompanied by a coronal mass ejection. That's key, okay? They used to think of coronal mass ejection, and they didn't differentiate between the two. There was just one thing, and that's what they called it. But now they know that it's two separate things. So, and the reason why they know it is because they were seeing flares without ejecti, plasma leaving the sun. Okay? So when that happened and they realized that was what was going on, they had to, make two different things there. So, it says powerful flares are often but not always accompanied by a coronal mass ejection. Even the most powerful flares are barely detectable in the total solar irradiance. Okay? In other words, they're hard to see. Okay? But anyway, we'll push play here. We'll get going with this thing. Because it's really simple. Okay? And I know I've explained this before, but this really helps people understand because I got music with this too. I just got it shut off. I'm going to do that to you. But you guys see that right there? We'll back that up a little bit. Whenever you see a solar flare, okay, the camera will see it like this. You see this? Or at least the tool, not the camera. You see the little hash marks, right? But those hash marks are in the form of an X. And you usually get this big line right up the middle. Now, I showed you the solar flare in my thumbnail yesterday, right? If you remember, it looked almost exactly like this. But this one is not from then. This is from, I don't know, I got this image off the internet like a year ago. Okay? Most likely it's a NASA capture from somewhere. But I used to think this is why they called it X flares, because it made this X shape. And, when I first started getting into this, that's what I thought. And I quickly realized, with the help of people telling me, hey, dummy, that's not what they're talking about. If you say X flare, you're talking about the highest class of flare you can have. So what I'm saying here is, even with an A, B, C, any of the M class flares, they're all going to look like this. The size is going to be different. It could be bigger, brighter, that kind of stuff. But just because it makes this X shape does not mean that that's an X flare. So I wanted to point that out. It's because I made that mistake myself. So solar flare occurs when magnetic energy that is built up in the solar atmosphere, okay, is suddenly released. That's what causes a solar flare. On the sun's surface are huge loops, magnetic loops, called prominences. Basically a very active area on the sun, okay? The solar flare contains high energy photons and particles and is released from the sun in a relatively short amount of time, a few minutes, okay? Let's go forward. Bore you with that. Solar flares are often occurrence when the sun is active in the years around solar maximum, okay? Many solar flares can occur on just one day during this period. That's what I just told you guys a few minutes ago. Around solar minimum, solar flares might occur less than once per week. And that's exactly what we've seen, okay? This is how they determine when to come out of and to go into the new solar cycle. They use this data point. When the sunspots are facing us, that's where a lot of the solar flares come from. Now, we don't have to have a sunspot to get a solar flare. We've seen them pop up, bam, blow off, and that's it. Not very often, though. Okay, the majority of the time, they're coming from in or around a sunspot. So I like to bring that point in because it's important. And this is another thing, guys. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we will get these things. And that is the truth. Okay? Are we going to get big ones? Don't know. We just don't know. Okay? So, yeah, I thought maybe that might help some people understand what's actually happening there. Just so everybody understands what it actually is. So that's a solar flare. I can show you what a CME is, but we'll save that for another day because I don't want to bore you too much with that kind of crap. I imagine that's kind of like sitting in a classroom. I don't like that, but... So yeah, did you guys understand what I was saying there? Just let me know. If you guys got any questions, just let me know. Okay, cool. Cool. What's going on? Yeah, nothing like humongous, guys. I mean, again, no fear. We just got CMEs and stuff coming at Earth and some solar flares that blew off. It's not like a huge. I mean, yeah, it's news because we haven't had this in a very long time. Okay, not to this level. So what we'll do is we'll sneak in here and take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna pounce in here. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to zoom into this sunspot, and I'm going to show you guys how many times it's flaring. I mean, it really is. It's flaring a lot. Now, did you guys see that big white flash? You guys know what that was? That was probably the light from one of those flares when it made it to the camera. That's why it was blinked and right back on it came. Okay, so that's most likely what that was. But you can see, guys, right in here. I'm gonna get in a little further, I guess, so you guys get a better look at that. And you'll see the little X signatures. Okay, see that one? That right there was almost a CME that blew off. It didn't, though. Went back to the surface, thank God. Well, wouldn't have been like the end of the world, but you see that big flash? I'm telling you, that was probably one of those solar flares. The light from one of those solar flares made it to the camera. So if we go up here, you guys see that filament? Watch this filament right here. Coming. See that little... Now watch. See that? That's a CME, believe it or not. Now I know it doesn't look very impressive right here, guys. I know that. But the reason why it doesn't look impressive is because the sun's the background. If we could cut this part of the sun out, move it over here to the black, and let it do its thing, it would be like in your face obvious. Okay? So, a lot of times when that's happening, the best thing to do, if you want to really try to see it, is to just back it off a little bit. Sometimes you can zoom in too close, and you lose track of what the overall picture is, right? So, I zoomed out, and you're probably going to see it better. See? See what I mean? See how much easier that was to see? So, it's not always best to zoom in. I wanted to show people that because... That's a mistake that I made a lot early on, and that's one to make sure other people are trying, doing what, learning from my mistakes. But you can also see the sun's doing stuff all around. So that right there was, I'm not sure which part of that would be the CME that's heading towards Earth, if it was up here, or if maybe one of these flares, got some stuff off the surface and it came on out too. It's hard to see on this one. So we're going to go over here to this one, obviously, the 131. I'm not sure if I think I did update that one. So, but you'll be able to see the X signature here really well. And what I'll do is I'll try to stop it. See how that kind of went up? See, if that would have left the sun, that would have been a CME following a solar flare. It's just, you know, guys, this is something we haven't seen in a while. We had almost a full day of flares. Just bam, bam, one right after the other. It's coming from the same spot. So, but again, I want to make sure you guys understand that it is definitely a normal thing. It's not something that's way crazy out of the ordinary. Maybe for this part of the solar cycle, maybe. But, you know, and when we get back up into maximum, it's going to be like that all the time. That will be the normal conditions. This one tends to show like CMEs pretty well, and coronal holes. Well, at least the beginnings of them. But see how that thing is just all kinds of active? I mean, it was from the beginning. Also, it grew like 8 times in a day. Just so you guys know that, the size of it. That's pretty impressive, you know. So if we go up here to the northern part, you're going to see that the other CME pop off here. Watch. It'll happen about right in here. Starting to. Wham. Okay. So that was that first initial one. You see how it's starting to close back up? And there was another small one up here, which I think is the one that's coming at us right now. That first bigger one missed us, I'm pretty sure. Okay. The way that it flew off the sun, you know, just by looking at other things, that does look like it's going to miss us. So I was waiting on the CME tracker to update, and it finally did, thank God. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. So what we'll do here is, here's the Australian model for the magnetosphere. And it's going to bounce around a little bit, but it's not going to do nothing too crazy. You know, when those flares hit, it knocks it just for a second. Now again, you know, what's the other risk with the solar flare? Well, it's the CME that oftentimes follows it. And that won't get here for another, you know, it takes about 3 to 4, sometimes 5 days to get here. The solar flare, the X-rays that you get off of that are here and gone in 8 minutes, roughly. So we just been getting bombarded all day long with X-rays. An uptick in X-rays. Now, it doesn't mean that conditions are bad or anything. You know, like I said, we deflect that stuff quite well. Most of the time, anyway. So, got you over here at seeds. So I'm going to start back here on the 26th. Okay? This is our view, right? It's as if we walked outside and looked up at the sun. This is what we would see if we could have, you know, solar filters on our eyeballs. But you can see how, you know, you kind of got this like half halo looking thing, right? Now, when we get a halo looking signature, more times than not, that's an actual filament that has blown off. Okay, if it's just like if it's a CME without the big long filaments, we see the big explosions and stuff. This is what we call a halo signature. And, you know, when you get a big filament, almost every time, that's what it'll do. Picture this in your mind. Say you took a garden hose, turned it on high, and just spun around in a half circle. What would that water look like coming out of that hose? That's kind of what a filament does. When it goes to release, and that plasma is getting flung out into space, it's doing the same thing that the water in that hose did when you spun with it. So that's kind of why you get that look. So we'll go to the next day, which is today. Okay, so you're seeing multiple flares here, number one. You've seen another halo signature. Watch. Right there. So, you know, and we're seeing other CMEs getting picked up. So, we had another CME. How do I know that? Well, I just showed you, what I thought was it. Here's the CME tracker. Okay? Remember I said it was small. Keep in mind, that's what I said, because that's definitely what we're seeing. This is the sun. Well, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Okay, this is the sun. This is stereo A, right, from the side. This yellow ball is Earth. Now, in order to see what direction it's going, they give us 3 different views here, because this is 2-dimensional. And we're trying to, look at something, give a visualization on something that's 3-dimensional. So when the CME blows off, we got to see, hey, we're looking top down right here on our inner solar system. So yes, that looks like it hits us, right? So then we go to the side view. And yes, it looks like it hits us, right? So then we go to this view. And what this view is, it's our orbit stretched out in a straight line. That's what you're seeing there. Okay? So we look at it here, and this is where I'm going to zoom in because it's easier to see, obviously. So watch right here. It's going to get a distortion. See that right there? So we got it hitting us on all three of these. And it looks like it's going to hit us right, pretty head on. But guys, I mean, look at it. Look how small it is. But watch as it goes behind us here. You see how intense that looks? So my thing here is, I know it's not large, but what I'm thinking, it almost looks like it's pretty intense just in a compact area. And I can't confirm that, okay? So I don't want you thinking that's exactly what's going to happen. At this point, even though this model is saying it's going to hit us right on the head, it doesn't necessarily mean that's even going to happen. Okay, because we are days away. Things can change. It could get more data in. But this model doesn't update unless it sees a CME. So there was, when I got on here like 4 hours ago, it was showing the CME that was busting off the backside here. So the sun, and what I mean is the sun is like a hibernating bear right now. We're waking it up somehow. It's coming up and it's mad. So, that's kind of what it looks like. In my mind anyway. So if we go back here to seeds, we'll look at stereo A today. And you're going to clearly see, here's some more stuff happening, right? You can see it's 2 different ejections. One starts there, one starts behind it. You can see it ejecting on the backside. So if we go to the previous day, the 26th, again, there's the start of one. See it? Now, this one here is one of the other CMEs that blew off that side. But we could let's go back over here and look at stereo A in Soho. We get more updated information over here, guys. The seeds site, it takes it a while to really get all this data in. And if I'm understanding it right, sometimes it don't even get the high def captures. The way I understand it, I can't remember who was telling me in the comment section. Man, it kills me, I can't remember that. Anyway, like the beacon data, that's all seeds will show you is the beacon data. And I guess once all the data comes in, they kind of can re-upload it to a different, I think it's on a different site, maybe one of the stereo sites. I'm going to try to find it so we can get clearer pictures of this, as the data comes in. But it takes it a couple days, I think, to get, it's got a lag time in there. So, it might be the Setchi thing too. Probably is. Anyway, I'm just trying to remember if that was correct or not. So you got this coming off the sun, right there on the right. Boom. Okay. And you can clearly see there's like 2 or 3 separate ones right there. But also right here, I'll just do this. See it? On the left side. So, guys, it's doing things on all angles of the sun right now. What does that mean for us? It just means we got to pay attention, guys. That's all. That's all it means. No fear, guys. No fear. And I'm serious when I say that. If this stuff scares you, you need to look at something different, okay? And I'm being serious. Because it won't do you no good if you're scared. So, sometimes people need to take a break from it. Just because of the negativity part of it, sometimes I got to back off for a minute. Take a break. But if this stuff is bringing you down, and this is all you're thinking about, and it's in your head all the time, back off for a minute, okay? It's not worth it. We're all still here. We're all still going to be here. Yes, there's a catastrophe cycle. I get that. And yes, sometimes, we can't be so arrogant to think that that couldn't happen to us. But we can't be so naive to think that it is automatically going to be us. You know what I mean? There's a balance we have to find there. If you run through your life fearing this kind of stuff, why even? I hate to say it like this, but why even be here? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be fearing that in that level. That's what I'm trying to say. Because there's absolutely nothing we can do to stop anything that's coming that direction. All right? All we can do is react or try to prepare. That's it. And put our plan in action when we need to. That simple. I know it's oversimplified, but, But you can clearly see, guys, how we're getting... And over here, too. So that's what I'm trying to say, guys. I mean, the sun's doing stuff all over. We got coronal holes. We got 2775, I think. That sunspot is actually on the backside right now. It was in the front side. It rotated all the way through. It's on the backside firing CMEs right now. And when it comes back across, we've seen them survive for multiple rotations. Okay? So, we have to pay attention. And that's the only reason why I'm saying that. So, let's go here. Alright, so what can we expect through a geomagnetic storm? which is what a CME would do to us, right? Most of the time it would put us in some sort of a storm level if it's strong enough. I've shown this before, but this is the conditions we can expect if we see G1 storm. What's a G1 storm? See this over here, this chart? This is what we're looking at, right? That's G1. So when the KP gets to a 5, that means we're in a G1 magnetic storm. And subsequently, each number it goes up, so is the storm level. And with that, each time that number goes up, we have more risks and stuff starts happening more as that number does increase. So G1 storms, they happen about 1,700 times every 11 years, guys. It says it right, you know what I'm saying? That is historical fact. It says these storms can cause weak power grid fluctuations. They can. Not always, but they can. Minor impacts on satellite operation is possible. Probably like going down into safe mode, or maybe they have to, orientate the camera itself, or the satellite might actually need steered and moved a little bit. They do rolls and everything else to calibrate these things. There's a lot of stuff there people can dig into and try to figure out exactly what's going on with that kind of a thing. It's interesting, I'll tell you that. In some levels, it's kind of amazing to see what they can and can't do with, like, satellites. Steering these things. Says these storms can have an effect on migratory animals in the northern regions. I showed you guys a report about the Vere, I think, bird is the name of it. But it was the bird that was predicting the hurricane season. Most birds will migrate south, right? Or the ones that do, they'll migrate almost the same time every year, within like a day or two. But these birds in Delaware, the one researcher figured out that it was actually waiting or going sooner depending upon what the hurricane season was going to do. They predicted a very, very, very active season in 2018. The birds did. But the meteorologists were saying the exact opposite. And the birds were right. You know? So them little birds, that's what I keep saying, guys. Nature is awesome. They're the best meteorologists we could ever have. Let's go back this way. Okay, so a G2, this is the conditions we would have. High latitude power systems may experience alarms, which means basically it threw a breaker. You got to go out there, and the guys might have to go up on the line and just reset the breaker or something. Again, this isn't that big of a deal. A long geomagnetic storm at G2 level, they could cause some transformer damage at higher latitudes towards the poles. Okay? Says corrective actions may be required for spacecraft orientation. In other words, what they're saying is that sometimes he can bump these satellites a little bit and they move, so they got to reorient them. Put them back into place, steer them back in. Oh, wrong way. G3, I'm not sure why I'm talking about this one right now because I don't think we're going to get there. But it happens about 200 times every 17 years. You guys can read this. Power systems may experience voltage alarms and require correction. All the conditions that can happen in a G2 can happen in a G3 plus more. Right? Same thing. Spacecraft may need moved. Low frequency radio navigation problems may occur. Okay, so we're talking about ham radio operators. Alright? First responders use those to communicate. Ambulance drivers, helicopters, lifeline type of stuff. All that stuff is done usually with low frequency radio navigation. So if it's going to mess with it, this would not be good for that kind of a thing, right? G4 spacecrafts, again, they, all the stuff that can happen in all the other ones. And then it says the power systems can see widespread voltage control problems. In other words, the voltage will be surging. Okay? And with the surge, obviously, we all know what a surge protector is, right? So if you get a surge of that, it could, mess up people's systems. I guess on the outside, it could actually, if you don't have your house and stuff set up right, and it's not right at the pole, out on the street, it could mess your TV up, your computers, anything that's plugged in if it gets a big surge. Spacecraft, they may experience surface charging and tracking problems, okay? Surface charging, obviously, is pretty much what it says it is. The surface of it gets a charge. I kind of think of it like this. I used to do what they call regrind, and it's plastic. And, you take old plastic bowls and stuff that were scrapped because of whatever problems we had with them, and you put them in this big machine, and it chews them up. And when it does that, it creates a massive static charge. And, this is kind of funny, but I'm going to get the chat back up while I'm telling you guys this. It's funny, but it's not. Okay? Is everybody okay in there, by the way? Okay, cool. But I was working, like I said, and we would put the plastic into these big gaylords with plastic bags, right? What's up, conspiracy realist? Jason, Kathy. Anyway, but the plastic would go into these bags, and it would build a huge static charge. So we would put what we called slip sheets, a big piece of cardboard on it, and we would wrap it and band it with banding material. And every so often, especially in the wintertime, you would be walking down the aisle, and you'd be like 10 or 12 feet away from these things. And I seen this thing. My boss was walking down it, and this is funny. And man, I wish I had a like a video of this, because for some reason that static decided to discharge And like I said, we were about 10 feet away from it. It reached out and smacked him right on the nose. His glasses flew off and everything. It was amazing. The big old blue, I mean, it was like a finger just stuck out and just smacked him right in his face, man. It was all, it was awesome. But, you know, that is what it is. That's static charge, you know. I think we all, you know, we've all done that as kids, you know, getting your socks and scoot across the carpet, and you could shock your cousin, your brother, sister, whatever. So, yeah. Trying to read that real quick. Okay, River Rain, go. You get smacked with your car door? Yeah, the electricity? Yeah, sometimes. Thanks, Jacqueline. Appreciate that. Can you see a photo of me? Maybe. I don't know if I got one on here. I've done live streams with my face out there. Yeah, I don't hide any of that. Hold on a minute. Let me show you. I got something I can show you. Hold on. Matter of fact, I might even be able to show you right here. I don't know, guys. Well, that's me right there. I just got out of the dentist office right there, so don't make too much fun of me. So, yeah. There you go. I just had procedure done. I had a bunch of my teeth ripped out, and I had to have my dentures molded and stuff. Oh, the wedding pic, I'd have to dig through here. I'm not going to dig through here right now for that, but that is not, yeah. I'm not looking my best there, but there you go, guys. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, you see, yeah. Well, hey, you guys get to see a picture of my teeth. Check it out. Back at you, Havoc. Back at you. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Oh, man, that's a horrible picture of me, by the way. But yeah, yeah, I'm not shaved there or anything. Heck, I look like I grew up in as a Hebrew or something, or Amish, about 3 weeks ago before I shaved. I had a beard that was down, I don't know, it was about 8 inches long. It was pretty big. So anyway, yeah, we'll get off of that. Let's see here. Let's bring it right on up into here again. Oh, yeah, I guess we won't get back to that, but okay. That's all right, though. We don't need to go back in there. Yeah, we don't have a G4 storm, whoever said that. What's up with the G4? Oh, a G4 storm? That's what I was explaining to you guys, the conditions we could have. Guys, we're not going to get there with this one, okay? G4, yeah, sometimes serious stuff can happen with the G4, guys. It would be, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go here again. And you can see, you know, if you look at the levels here, daggone it. Anyway, you can see a KP of 8 would be a G4. Okay, right there. That's a G4. So, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than that. You know, G5 is as much as we're going to see. Now, I imagine there's something worse than that. But, you know, we wouldn't want to know what that is. I'll just put it to you that way. That would be something on the lines of, you know, total grid shutdown. Anything bigger than this kind of stuff, I would think. So what's a G5? What you said? Oh, yeah, G5, guys. I mean, yeah, just anything I just said, told you guys could happen. Does happen in a G5. Plus, you could have grid outages. Stuff gets destroyed, transformers blowing up, all kinds of stuff can happen. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. And that's why we talk about this, because just like I showed you in that one video a few minutes ago, it's not a matter of if, it's actually a matter of when. And let's just hope that it ain't when we're here, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that it would be the end of the world anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, I want people to be aware of what's going on, but I also want people to understand that I don't think the end of the world is happening right here, guys. I don't. So, that's just what I would say, you know. I think we need to stay vigilant, but at the same time, we need to stay grounded in the fact that number one, we don't know. We just don't. It could be. You don't know. But we can't dwell on that. If we dwell on that, then it starts running your life. And then you can't function like that. What's the point of being worried about something that you have no control over? Ask yourself that. You know, and I think you're probably going to come to the same conclusion as I did. At some level, when you start running, use that kind of logic where, you know, if you can't control it, why worry about it? It's a stress reliever. Okay? And, you know, because at that point, you've done and you're doing everything that you can do. Most people have already, right? So, that's a stress reliever. I know for me, when I know, like, say I'm doing a job somewhere and it didn't really work out the way that I planned, but when I leave my job, if I can walk out of there knowing I gave my 100%, my stress isn't there, because I know I couldn't have done anything different to change it, because I gave my 100%. So there's nothing to be worried about here, guys. I mean, we got to be aware. We should be concerned during certain things. We should be aware. That's the biggest thing. And we should have an idea of what could be happening. That way it gets rid of all that fear. Okay? So if we know what possibly could happen, it's kind of like the old saying, you know, under promise, overachieve. Okay? It's just, you know, a lot of people make that mistake in their lives. Period. You know, you go to your job, you don't want to oversell yourself, because eventually they're going to see you don't know what you're doing. But if you go into a job where you've undersold yourself and you overachieve, that makes you look like a hero. So that's kind of what I'm saying. And yeah, child of prophecy, that's exactly what I'm saying there. You got that right on the head. We make bad decisions when we are scared. Completely, utterly bad decisions. And we make the worst decisions. And a lot of that comes from not fear for ourselves, but fear for what's going to happen to our family and our loved ones. So if we have okay, let me do this a little exercise for us together. Just picture yourself and say we get the emergency broadcast system busted in online, right? And they're like, oh gosh, we got this whatever getting ready to happen. Okay, say we had say they had a huge CME that they seen in it, or some sort of massive cosmic whatever, and it was going to, 90% of the Earth's whatever electric was going to go down, right? And they told us that. Well, all of us right here that we're talking about this right now, we would probably have some sort of a plan in our head, even if we hadn't mapped it out already. We would still have some sort of a plan, and we would at least know the initial thing to do to give us the best chance that we could. Right? Well, imagine if you're somebody that has never heard any of this and they see that on TV. What are they going to do? They're not going to do nothing. They're not going to know what to do, because they're not going to have a clue. They're going to come running to you. So, you know, so that's just kind of what it is. So, yeah. But, anyway. Yeah, first things first is be still. Exactly, Marie. That's exactly right. Exactly. Space weather. 22 fireballs today, guys. Here is that. It's kind of funny. You know, I don't think they actually took that from the picture I used, but they used kind of the same section of the sun on the same solar flare. That's kind of cool. You know, I'm not sure. I don't think their article was out before mine. Matter of fact, I know it wasn't because I went right over here after I posted mine and they hadn't updated theirs yet. But yeah. So, yeah, Paul, I mean, at some level, you know, I think we all got to live like that anyway, you know. So, yep. Let's go in here. Let's go to power outages, guys. Again, we had the big fires out here again, guys. You know, this was up in the red yesterday, so they're getting some of their power back. But this down here, guys, was from thunderstorms. Okay, we can click on the particular state, and it'll take us down to county. This is usually how you can tell what caused it. Because if you go into here and you go back in time on a radar loop, you're probably going to see thunderstorms roll through there. So that's kind of what happens there. But Oklahoma, same thing. Okay? I mean, they got a lot of people out here. Look at that. There's 307,000 people without power in Oklahoma. Wow. So, yeah. Here is the, you know, this site. This is the DuPage site. This is the radar. This kind of gives us a pretty good overlook of what's happening. I caught that. You guys see that? I don't know what caused that. I'm assuming it's probably just some sort of weird whatever, but I don't know. Hey, has anybody seen Ricky? I haven't, you know, I seen her in here for a little bit yesterday. I just want to make sure she's okay. Haven't seen Ricky in here for a minute. Hey, what's up, Sparky? Della? Yeah, I haven't seen Ricky in here for the past couple days. I mean, she was over here in my video, but I think Ron is on right now too, so she's probably over there. Emergency management, that channel, talks about the earthquakes and stuff in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, did you guys see that? It's just kind of odd. Oh, did he finish? IG, do you talk to Ricky? I'm just curious. I know you guys are both over there at Ron's channel quite a bit. No, you don't? Okay. I'm just concerned. I hadn't seen her, you know, or talked to her that much lately. She's a very, very valued person here on this channel because, man, she really has taught all of us, for that matter. Just a couple times she spoke in the thing here. She was, yeah, very knowledgeable, guys. Very, very knowledgeable. So what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm going to go down into this and see if we can see what that is real quick. You know, hopefully it's right around the base of a radar site. It is. Okay. Yeah, I would say that that's just some sort of a glitch. I don't know. Oh, did you? River Rain? Okay. Yeah, she was in my chat yesterday. I just hadn't seen her for a couple days. I just want to make sure she's okay. If anybody sees her, tell her to hit me up so that way I know everybody's all right. You know, I was looking for Teresa the other day too, and I haven't seen Teresa. If anybody knows anything about Teresa, please let me know. Make sure she's okay too. She was in hospice, guys. So. But yeah, so I don't know what's causing that. I would imagine it's something fairly normal. But, you know, I can't say that for sure. It could be, I guess, something. I don't know. I get with the radar, whatever it's picking up there. I'll tell you what, let's look at it in something different. What time stamp is that? 17:15. Let's look at it in shortwave IR. How about that? Yeah, I just seen it on the radar cap, guys. So, hey, Sid, what's up, bud? Paula. Sparky is still in here. Axe, what's up? Okay, so, yeah, guys, that's what's going on. I don't really have a whole lot more here. I just wanted to bring that to you, and I'll try to give you guys some updates as it happens. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with all the, you know, all the other stuff going on around here and all that other kind of thing we just talk about, you know. Hey, Becca. Everybody doing okay in here today? Any kind of arguing or anything like that? Oh, yeah, I was going to show you guys earthquakes real quick. Thank you. Thank you for whoever said that. I want to show you guys that real quick. I was sitting there just talking about it, wasn't I? That's ridiculous. Cool, Jerry, cool. Alright, so I'm going to pull you guys over here. Yeah, let's do it right there. Well, I know I've been moving the chat around a lot today. It's kind of what I do, I guess, but I don't know. So, this is 2.5 and above. So watch what this does, guys, when I change it to all magnitudes. I mean, obviously it's going to increase, but that's, you know, you can definitely see where it's swarming. I mean, look up here. So, yeah. I mean, we've even got some, you know, Kansas, right in the middle of Oklahoma. A lot of that's probably fracking there, I would probably. But yeah, I mean, you got, isn't that kind of crazy to see the difference in numbers there? And to see where it's actually swarming at? You know. Ricky, hey, we were just asking about, I was trying to figure out if you was okay. Just asking about you, girl. Glad to see you. Time to leave California, huh, George? So yeah. Cool. Are you okay? You doing okay, Ricky? Just making sure you're good. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate what you've done here, at least on my channel. And also, you know, pointing us over towards Ron. That was, you know, that's gold in my opinion. Cool. I actually, I sent you an email. I was actually going to try to see if you wanted to come on my show here and actually try to help us out with the earthquake thing, if you wanted to. You could say no. You could think about it. You ain't got to answer right here. I probably shouldn't even have asked you right here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. That was wrong with me. I apologize. I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, so just think about it. Hit me up, and we'll see if we can't do that. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, we'll get you in here then in the next week or so. We'll try to work out a time And, you know, we'll try to put a show together just to talk about earthquakes, period, you know. You know, you're going to be pretty much teaching me along with everybody else. I'm probably just pretty much hand you the channel that night and being there with you, and so that's probably what we'll do. I think we could all benefit from that. I really do. I know I get a lot of questions from people, guys, and thank you for asking me, because I really do appreciate that. You know, asking questions about earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I really never had, like, somebody that was, like, you know, close to me here on my channel, like Ricky is now, that I could ask questions, you know, except for Scott. I mean, but Scott was doing his thing too, so, I mean, he was, yeah. So, like, somebody like Dutch and stuff like that, and Ron, you know, I've really never been exposed to people like that. You know, never had conversations with them and been able to ask questions like that. So it's very much appreciated. Anytime you guys ask questions, you know, I don't expect her to have all the answers or nothing like that, but she's definitely going to have more than what I could give you. That's 100% positive truth. So I just try to, you know, when I know that I'm weak in an area, I definitely want to get better. And, you know, how do we get better? Well, we listen to somebody that knows more than us, right? And that goes back to where, you know, we can't be so stuck on ourselves that we can't come off of what we actually think is going on and not see the truth. And, you know, just because we don't want to, just because we don't want to drop our ego at the door. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that doesn't exist here. Sorry, Andy, I don't mean to be a preacher. I just see so much of that crap, you know, and I have a platform now, you know, guys, with you guys coming here and all that kind of stuff, that I feel like I can say something like that and maybe help somebody else know that they're not the only ones that feel like that. And that's big, because it makes you think that, hey, well, maybe I ain't so stupid. You know what I mean? So that's why I do that. It's not because I'm trying to, you know, sit up here on a pulpit somewhere and try to, like, preach at people. It's just that, you know, I want people to be comfortable. I really do. And I want people to know what I know. And people that know more than me, I want to know what they know. You get what I'm saying? And, and I think that's better for all of us. And I've just been blessed with having a channel that was able to grow like it did. I feel really, really blessed to have all you guys here. And that is no joke. Not one joke at all. You guys you guys have really brought me through a really dark time. You guys didn't even know it. You know, because I wasn't going to come out here and put all that negativity out there, you know what I mean? But having this and learning all this kept my mind focused on something other than wanting to go do something that I shouldn't be. You know, you guys know I had a pill addiction. Most of you guys know that. You know, I've been in treatment for 7 years, and I've never relapsed. And doing this has helped with that. There's some days I don't even think about it now. I'm on a withdrawal medicine called Suboxone. I know a lot of you guys know what that is. You know, we've had conversations like that. And doing this, believe it or not, guys, there was a couple days I actually forgot to take my withdrawal medicine. You believe that? You know what that tells me? That the majority of my addiction right now is in my head. And I got you guys to thank for that. I didn't realize that until then. And, you know, it is what it is, you know. Oh, yeah, I don't hide the fact, guys. You know, when people hide that they had issues like that, unless they're trying to keep their job because they're afraid they're going to lose their job or something, it does that person that's addicted, it does them more harm than good trying to hide it. Because they're still trying to live behind a wall of deception. And you can't do that if you want to get completely, you know, away from that stuff. So, I really appreciate all you guys. I mean, I'm not just saying that. I really, truly mean that. You know, and again, it started small. It did. It started small. Thanks, Egg. I appreciate that. Judy B. Becca, yeah, for sure, Becca. I'm telling you guys, hey, listen to this. I'll say this. I never even smoked weed in high school. I know people probably halfway don't believe me, but that is the truth. That was the kind of person I was into sports and stuff like that. I was really busy doing that kind of a thing. And, you know, I got hurt at work when I was about 30 years old. Ended up getting on pain pills and having surgeries, and the rest is history. I never, you know, even being on the pain pills, I was what I would call dependent until the last 3 months. And that's when I became an addict, because I started doing things that were wrong. You know, if you're on a drug like a pain medication and you're taking it like it's prescribed, that doesn't make you an addict. That makes you dependent, because you're doing what that drug is supposed to be helping you with. But the second that you step out of that and you go actively search for more of it, that's addiction. Okay? So that's that's where it's at, you know. And that's kind of what happened with me, like I said. And again, I went from being perfect to really bad in 3 months. That's how fast it gets you guys. And I have to say that because I think it helps people to know that. I was on hydrocodone. I was prescribed 6 a day, 6 tens a day, which is high dose anyway, guys. I didn't start there. I had to keep, you know, upping my dose. My doctor did, because I started building a tolerance. And that's where the biggest problem comes from. But I was at work one day. My friend walked up to me and said, "Hey, man, it looks like your back's hurting you real bad today." Because I was kind of, you know, twitching around. He could tell I was hurting. I was like, "Yeah." He said, I told him, I said, "Well, I've already taken my pain medication. You know, I can't take it till I get home." And he's like, "Well, such and such down there, he's got, you know, a couple of them. Go give him $5 and he'll give them to you." So that's what I did. And that's how it all got started. And, you know, it took away my back pain at first. And I told myself that's why I kept taking it. But I was lying to myself. I liked the way it made me feel. And so I went from taking 10 Norcos, 10 milligrams, which is 60 milligrams a day, to 60 a day in 3 months. I was swallowing 20 of them at a time. And I know a lot of people have a hard time understanding why, or understanding how the heck I was even still alive. But, so, yeah. Yeah, Egg, I mean, that's, yeah. It just, yeah. It was a big thing, you know. And I can't say this enough, you know. My wife is, my gosh, she is, wow. You know, I can't tell you how much I get emotional even just thinking about it, because it was such a big thing for me. You know, I never had nobody love me unconditionally that well, that much, until that point in my life. I didn't realize she did, to be honest with you, until that all happened. You know, and she refused to walk away. And, yeah. So that's that, you know. It's, you know, like I said, guys, I had that video. If you guys haven't watched it, I would go watch it. I can show it to you real quick if you guys want to see it. And then we'll probably pop over at Mark's later on here in a few minutes. But those that are still sticking around here, I could take you to my channel here real quick. And I'll scroll down. I'll show you the video. I'll put a link in here too, if you guys want to go watch it. You know, people were asking what I look like. Well, if you want to know what I look like, well, 26, 27 years ago, this would be the video for you. Because it'll show you. If I don't pass it here. I'm trying to see if I can't. But, you know, the concept behind this video, guys, I called it, it's right here. It's what I called it, my what if right now video, flipping the script on social media. And I took the concept that, you know, this wall that we don't have on the internet that allows so many people to do a lot of negative things without any kind of repercussion or any kind of, you know, backlash or any kind of judgment. That's usually used for a negative thing here on the internet, right? Because they come in here and just start blasting people, saying whatever they want to say, that kind of thing. Well, you know, I started looking at my own life, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you know, there's things I need to say to my wife. There's things I need to say to my kids, my parents, anybody I love that I just haven't said. It ain't that we don't tell each other we love each other, because we always have. But I'm talking a more deeper thing than that. Legitimately, don't just say, hey, I love you. You need to tell them why and what you love about them. Because the word love gets overused in the sense that nobody ever specifies what you love and how that makes you feel. Because that means so much more to a person if you could walk up to them and say, hey, I love you because of this, 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 and this. And be honest about it. But just like me, it takes a little bit of guts to be able to make yourself completely vulnerable like that. Because when you do that, you are completely, utterly vulnerable to any kind of negative comment they want to throw back at you. Or if they don't, you know, return that kind of feeling, you're going to feel, you know, like something's wrong, right? So I did this, okay? I took that wall and I just bulldozed it down. And I told, you know, I made this video telling my wife, telling my, you know, pretty much my wife and my kids a little bit in this one, how I actually felt and why I felt that way. And things that I had never said to her. And she is my best friend. And that will never change. Never. You know, and I tell this to people, especially young kids, young people, that the definition of love will change for you as you get older. You will. It will, I promise. You know, it slowly starts, like when you're young, 18, 19, 20 years old. It starts with the physical attraction, usually. So that becomes like the main part of the relationship at first. Slowly, that kind of starts morphing down into something different to where you almost think something's wrong. Because that's no longer like a priority for you. So you're like, well, am I still in love or not? Well, yes, you are still in love. It's that feeling is just changing. It's changing for the better. It's becoming more intimate to the place where you can, you know, like I said, I can just tell her whatever I need to tell her without any fear of repercussion of anything. And, you know, it becomes so much deeper. It ain't about the physical part at all. Not anymore. Not for me. Don't get me wrong. The physical part's nice. I'm not saying that. It just, you know, that becomes secondary is what I'm trying to say. Matter of fact, that part of your relationship becomes better because of the other stuff. So, anyway. Yeah, that had a lot to do with space weather, didn't it? Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Really? That's crazy. Yeah, Ricky touches on something there. Actually touches on something big. Guys, they don't report all the earthquakes. I need to get a link and go to that where you can look at the tremors. Tremors are a little different, but it will show you where, you know, kind of where activity is actually moving towards, you know, that kind of a thing. But yeah, so let me grab this link. I'll put it in here real quick. If you guys want to go back and watch it, you can. And there's pictures of me and my... The heck? happened there? Huh. Lost my chat. There you are. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the heck happened there. I must have hit a button or something stupid. But yeah, if you guys want to go watch that, go ahead. You know, I guess I just moved off of it, but that's okay. What we're going to do now here real quick is I'm going to go to my channel. I'm going to pin this up here real quick. Guys, we're going to go over here and hang out with Mark here for a while, okay, guys? You guys want to come over, have some fun? Please come. All right, guys? You guys will not regret it, I promise. I'll be in the chat for quite some time. If you guys want to come out, get to know me a little bit better, get to know everybody else over here a little bit better. They're all good people. Let me tell you something here. The Mark Pyers Real Talk Show family is the same family as the Wages World family. We all think the same. We're trying to be as positive as we can. And this right here will give you a laugh. You'll get to know everybody when you come over here. It'll be awesome, guys. I'm telling you. You won't regret it. Anybody that hasn't been over here yet. And I don't just say that lightly, okay? At all. That's something that I would never say lightly. So, yeah, it ain't all about... Tam, you know, the politic thing. Yes, he does face swaps and he does this, but he does it in a funny way. It's not like watching Fox News or something, or CNN or whatever station you're talking about, right? He's making fun of a lot of this, okay? So that's kind of what that is. So if you guys want to follow me over there, guys, I would really love you to, and come on over and we'll hang out and just have a good time with each other. Just check it out. If you don't like it, you know, don't come back or whatever, but give it a chance. Teresa, I hope you're feeling better. So yeah, so let me here's the link to his channel again. If you guys want to come over there, it'd be great. There's the link. And yeah. If we see anything else popping up and around, guys, I'll come back on and let you guys know. And we'll do it from there. So, God bless. Yahusha saves, and